making your planets, you are going to use, you're going to have one piece of nice paper. You're going to take and different objects that I have around the room, you're going to trace them. It works best when you do something like this with oil pastels to have it on a piece of paper before you cut it. And we've already been talking about spheres, and we've drawn 3D shapes. When you're using your oil pastels, remember that they are like yummy crayons. They're made of oil paint and pigment. You can color on top, okay? And if you see how I'm coloring, I'm going in the motion of curved lines because this shape, I want to create the illusion that it is a sphere. And so you can do the cross hatching we've talked about. You can also bring in white. See how I'm doing the curving this way as well? I've got darker spots. When you are using these with different colors though, what you need to remember is you might need to have a scrap paper on the edge, so if it is around the edge that you hopefully do your shapes in the center where you won't have it everywhere, but you can use this to clean up your oil pastel. I have trays like this. Try to keep them in the right color, please. Like how these are all greens and these are warm colors. And I could have all the cool colors together. Black and white is usually in the middle. So when you get done with this step, you're going to do as many planets as you can fit on here. And you've already drawn your composition of what plan, you know, thinking about, do you want a big planet here? You want a bunch of little planets. You've drawn a couple of these to practice. Your rings will go on later. So after that, you're going to have, you've already painted. I have a video showing you to paint your background, so you'll do this one day. And then this is the painted background. And I've already showed you that part of the video. You see the little spots, this was from doing the salt. What you want to make sure is you're going to probably have to do this over the sink or over the trash can. You're going to have a little bit of salt. So, and this will already be dry. Now, I'm doing this on the same day, so this is not dry, so my gluing is probably not going to be the best, but I want to go ahead and do this video to show you. So I've got my planets already done. I'm going to show you the next step. Okay, so my planets are done. Typically, you will already have had this cut out. Like I said, I'm doing this all on the same day. You want to get really close to those lines. You don't want to see those pencil lines. You want to do a good job of cutting, nibbling. See how my scissors are staying in the same spot, and all I'm doing is going around. I want to show you, I overlapped that line a little bit to help create the illusion that it does look like a sphere. You have all your planets on one page. Your background is already colored, painted with liquid watercolor. And I want you to think about placement, meaning this might go off the edge of the paper. I would glue this, okay? I'm going to show you how to do a frame of glue, and then I would cut this afterwards to create the illusion. So I'm going to cut all these planets out. Then at the end, artist, you will glue. A frame of glue means it goes around the shape of the planet. You can do dot, dot, not a lot. When you are using glue, I talk about with the little kids, you might have to pick the boogers from Mr. Glue. Hold on to the hat. Obviously, you know how to do all this glue. Dot, dot, not a lot. Here, I really like this one. This one turned out good. When I said to add your rings at the end, you will have to wait until it's glued. So for this composition, if this is what I wanted mine to look like, I would add that. You can use a Sharpie for your background because it is not oil pastel and it's watercolors. You would not be able to use a Sharpie on top of these oil pastels because it wouldn't work. So I'm slowly cutting all these out. This would go ahead and put this in the trash. Don't recycle it. It's got oil pastels on it. Share your scissors. Think about placement, where you want your planets. Think about if you're adding rings. Think about if you're going to use a Sharpie, because we're fancy, to put little dots in here. I would not overdo the Sharpie though. So let me go get a glue bottle. Just a second here, artist. Okay. So we'd hold on to his head, twist his hat, pick his boogers if you needed to. Have a scrap piece of paper. Don't go this far on your project and then ruin it because you get glue everywhere. So the frame of glue, it's hard to tell because this is a white paper. So I'm trying to see. Let me do this. Use this tray so maybe you could see it better in the contrast. When you do the glue, it is around the inside. I'm going to lift this up so you can see it. So I didn't squeeze the bottle too much. You want to have space, meaning don't do it all the way on the edge. Do a frame of glue. If you want to do a bunch of dots, that's fine. Don't just do a dot in the middle and that's it. What you're going to find with these, like I said, I've already figured out how I want my placement to be. When you are gluing on this paper that you have used oil pastels with, see, I want to have this curve. I don't want to like that. I want to have the illusion like this is traveling in space. You're going to press it down, but you might want to consider getting a clean piece of paper, setting it on top of it, and pressing it and rubbing it. Because if I take my hand, which has oils on it, and I rub it, I'm going to smear my entire project, and I don't want it to be smeared. I'm just very gently massaging it, what we say in here, giving it a nice little rub, and then I'm going to lift it off. If you need to get a couple different pieces of paper, that's fine. See how there's a little bit of oil pastel on there? Like I said, yours will be dry. Make sure if you don't think it's dry, go back and just massage it a little bit. And then you're going to glue all these down. What I meant with the Sharpie is you can come back in if you want to and just do little like Milky Way dots, or have it be, I would do less. I wouldn't do a huge dot, okay? Really excited to see what these planets are going to look like. Couple more things that I want to add. I wanted to show you an example. See how I put the small one in the back because it's going to give it look of perspective. See how I have the glue on the edge. It was on the edge of my countertop here. And I've cut it off the edge of the paper. I will come back in, wipe that down and cut it. I wanted to show you the rings. So remember we've talked about hitting a bump and jumping. I picked a blue because I think it would make this stand out. I'm going to start at that planet. I'm going to come in, come around, and yes, I'm going to draw on top. See how I'm making that dark? So it really has a contrast coming all the way around. And I'm going to do the same thing. It makes it look like a halo. And there is my ring. Make this thicker if you want. Start small, then you can make it bigger. Then what I wanted to show you is I added a little bit more dots. I would turn this over and cut right where that edge is. Very carefully. If you are worried about making a mistake, you might want to cut it, have it be a little bit extra. Now I would actually have to go in with my paper towel, dry this, and might need to go back in and add a little bit of glue so it'll stick off the edge. Once again, my paper is wet. Yours is not going to be wet. Very carefully, nibble, nibble, cut away. Look at my beautiful planet pieces. I can't wait to see what this is going to look like. There. Now I have the illusion that it's popping off the page. So I've added my rings. I could go back in with my dots.